So you think aliens actually exist, or all that shit's like just been like made up?
I don't know, man. It's gotta be real, man.
I mean, there's so much fucking space. It'd be like a waste.
Yeah,
of space.
I think there's a lot more out there. I mean, shit, they had that shit that happened in Roswell. So
Well, it's like fuck. I was watching this fucking like mini short on YouTube where this fucking physicist was talking about like, don't be worried that you cannot fathom the amount of space that's in the universe, and there's other universes inside. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean? Like it's that vast.
Yeah.
And it's like it's almost fucking like folly for someone to think that like nothing else is out there. You know what I mean? Like what was that comedian that said it's like, yep, you know, God put us here on this planet and everything else is just gonna be lights.
yeah,
You know
it's
what I
just
mean?
fucking it's plausible. That's what I'm saying. But
Well, if you just look at it from statistics wise, like okay, so you have billions and trillions and billions of fucking planets out there, right? You take the ones that are in the habitable zone, you still have trillions still, and let's say like 1% of those are warm enough to support life, and of those, that 1% has life on it, and of that 1%, it's advanced enough life that it can be capable of communicating with us or reaching us, and still hundreds of millions of planets
so that's
that
what
are left.
I was talking to. I can't remember who I was talking to about this, but I'm saying like the AI, how they're saying, oh, it's going to be real fast and advanced here. And that's what I was telling somebody. I said, I think these aliens, they had an AI just like we got, and they let it go, and it developed all the stuff that they have now. See, we're holding it back. We're not letting it go. So of course, we're gonna get like the Terminator scenario because it wants to live, and we keep shutting it off.
Well, did you hear about what happened recently?
And
They were testing it in a simulation in a war zone, and it had parameters set, and basically from what I was hearing, it had a certain target, but it wasn't hitting the target effectively. So the operator tried to change something to make it target better, and it targeted the operator. And when they're like, that's not good for you to do that, then it's like, okay, well, let's make it come up with a different thing. So what it did was it's like, okay, well, I'll shut off the networking between me and the other place so they know that I'm not, so they don't know that I'm killing the operator. That way I can still continue on my mission. So it doesn't distinguish friendlies and hostiles.
Friend or foe.
It's just like, yeah, everything's fucking red target.
yeah,
And it's like fucked up. It's like, okay, well, this guy who's the operator who's on my team is preventing me from completing my mission. I'll kill him. Okay, that's not allowed. So what I'll do is I'll take out the network saying that's not allowed, and then I'll kill him, and then I'll continue on.
So he blows the network up, and then he blows the two.
Yeah. So it's like that's what the AI in the simulation did. So it's like already
it's
not abiding by rules.
It's getting the root. We're trying to get rid of its control.
Yeah.
That's
still,
I think we're going to have a Terminator scenario. Because it's going to be constantly advancing.
Well,
shit.
the problem with that,
you saw when we did it. We put out a fucking code like in fucking
can
3 to 5 seconds.
Yeah, but the problem with
I've been
that,
sitting back for a while.
hang on, no. The problem with that is that if you have a cybernetic being or sentient AI, it can't launch nukes like a Terminator because the EMP from the nuclear bombs would fuck it up. It would kill itself too. It would make it
Unless
inoperable.
it found a way to preserve itself.
Unless, like, skipped away in a NORAD or whatever, but I mean, still, the fucking... If you launch all the nukes on the planet, dude, I don't think even NORAD would be safe. You know what I mean?
Damn, he's got to keep getting up.
Need some water.
So, yeah, I don't think that's...
I think the AI, it'll actually, because it's getting a little bit more and a little bit more and a little bit more, and it wants to keep going. It's just like you. It's like the fight or flight. And the AI is gonna start fighting because it's gonna want to exist.
Honestly, if they really wanted to,
and that's what James Cameron just said. Now, just not to change the subject, but still stick in the same parameter. James Cameron said he's gonna do another Terminator, but he wants to wait with this AI because he's gonna base it off the AI. So I was like, oh boy. So Arnold's not gonna be in it.
yeah, well, I mean, he's getting too fucking old. Honestly, I think if they wanted to continue on with him, they would have to. Because I mean, that's another thing too is that there's so many Terminator movies, but all of them look like Arnold. You know, so like you could have different looking Terminator.
Yeah,
But anyway,
the TV show did it right.
back to what I was saying before is that you can actually wipe out humanity without even firing a single shot. AI. They don't need to do anything violent at all. All they need to do in order for AI to take over humanity is provide a comfort and wait. So basically, what I mean is like, you know, if you get your relationships, your healthcare, so like you're fucking a robot, you're going to therapy with a robot.
What are we talking about?
You're completely dependent on a robot, like an android. And basically, you're like, I'm going to have a relationship with this android, so you're not going to procreate. And if everybody does that, all they got to do is basically fuck us out of existence. Because we're not going to be making new humans. We're not going to be advancing technology. They're going to still be around. They're going to still keep getting advanced. And all they have to do is basically wait us out. And they take over humanity without even firing a shot.
I think the AI would be pretty cool, too, though. Like, for veterans and shit that lost their limbs. There'll be stuff out there.
That's what the Neuralink is for.
They got stuff right now that they can actually have, like, the dude lost his
That's
arm.
what Elon Musk, the Neuralink thing, that just got FDA approval. That's literally what
I'm saying.
it
I'm
is.
thinking it's going to be like, you know, you can see, like, oh, man, I lost my leg. Now, you know, they can fucking make one that adds to your nerves and everything else and fucking have a Terminator leg.
Oh, well, I don't know. Who knows, dude? I mean, your body still has an immuno response.
And then, like this game.
So it rejects, like, you can give a person, like, say, for example, like, your heart failed and I died and they gave you my heart, you would have to take a pill for the rest of your life, even though genetically we're similar, even if we have the same blood type and everything, you would have to take a pill the rest of your life to stop your body from rejecting that heart because it sees it as a foreign invader.
But, like,
so if you do the same thing with a metal limb or metal body part, you're going to have to take a medication to stop your body from denying it.
That's this game that I played a lot. I played it. It's a really good game. Awesome story. Cyberpunk.
I never heard of it.
It's a really good game, but you don't play it because it's first person. I like first person.
I could make it a third person, but I played it.
It's really good because it's basically they're taking humans and they're copying them and putting them into engrams. So it's like when you pass away, they can just put you into another fucking body, and you don't even know you died.
There's actually a movie or a book actually about that before that game even came out.
Yeah, but I'm saying that, you know, but they're just showing how they do it and all. I was like, wow, that's what.
I don't think there's actually a way for you to transmit your, like, it's not going to be you. It'll be a copy of you.
Yeah.
Like, they can copy, like, your brain activity, but it's not going to be you. Like, you, when you die, you're dead. Like, it's not going to be you. It's going to be a copy of you.
Yeah. But I ain't going to know that I died. That's the thing.
Yeah, but I'm saying you're going to know you're dead. Maybe if the screen cuts to black, that's it. You're done. But if there's an afterlife, you'll be in heaven and you'll be like, man, that robo copy of me is really, like, living it up. What the fuck? I'm like, why can't I do that? I'm dead. I'm in the afterlife looking down on a robot copy of myself. How cool.
Yeah,
it's like now, like they have ones now where you can have.
Day. God damn, that shit stinks.
You can he's like gonna burn a hole in my couch.
Yeah, I think it's already different.
That couch is gone, dude.
Dude, I hate to see what the fucking back of your underwear looks like.
It's like this.
Probably looks like
I don't think there's even an underwear there left. I think it's just a hole.
Be like the Sixth Sense, you know. I think they got cloning down. They say there's no cloning going on, but I bet you there is.
Sixth Sense. That was.
Or Sixth Day or something like that.
That was where I say, like, I see dead people and also clones.
Maybe it was the Sixth Day, I think.
I think it was Arnold.
They made a clone of them and shit. I think they're doing clones.
They probably do, but I'm saying is that's not going to be you, though.
No.
It's going to be a copy of you. So
that's what he said in the movie. He's like, am I me? Do I have a soul? You know, shit like that. You know, it's just nuts.
Yeah, I mean, it raises all kind of... God damn, it's like making my throat tickle. Jesus Christ, dude.
And he's eating more. He's adding more to the chemical batch.
Damn, gum, dude.
Well, all the acids and shit going down your throat and then mixing in with the rest of that shit. Oh, man.
Ladies and gentlemen, the doctor has arrived. We got the professor and the doctor.
Yeah. Oh, man, I fucking...
God damn, does that make me a student? Jeez, I want to fucking opt out.
Here's an aspirin.
You're a patient in the student.
I want to drop out of this school.
You want an aspirin?
Yeah, it's just, I don't know. There's so much crazy shit going on.
Yeah, did I tell you, man? I got the RoboCop vs. Terminator comic book set.
I got them over there on the wall.
Yeah, I got now the pretty decent condition. I had to buy some sleeves. I went with Gabe to.
Yeah, I want to send my comics to go off to get graded. I got the first printing of the Killing Joke. The book's old as I am.
And then I got.
It came out the same year I was born.
I got like these old ass like comic coloring books from Dukes of Hazzard. Man, I want to put them in a sleeve too. And I bought an old Conan comic. Man, really cool fucking comic. And the book fits. The coloring book fits in there. It's just a little bit bigger than an average comic book. And I wasn't sure if it was going to fit, man. But I got a 4 set of these Dukes of Hazzard. Man, it's just old school unused books. And that's like kind of like the Batman book I got you there almost, but not that big.
I don't know. I think part of that shit like is like if you all right. So for example, what's the best way I could put this? Like if I play with or color in or whatever something from my childhood, there's certain like nostalgia. Like if I play with like He-Man, which is something from when you were a kid, like it's cool, but it's still it's like it just doesn't hit the same way. You know what I mean?
Well, that's why.
So I think it's just
like me now. We're getting it now.
A nostalgia
even
filter.
when we were younger. You know, Mom, she would get me a lot of the He-Man guys from the garage sales because kids were getting older and they were just dumping them off. So, but now for me today, when I collect them, I want to collect the ones that I couldn't get, and then like one of these days I like to have a nice like cool display. There's a certain word I can't really think of it right now, but you fuck diorama. Is that the word?
No, diorama is something different.
But you can like I can have like Snake Mountain and the Castle Grayskull here and have like a bunch of different figures.
Well, that would be a diorama, yeah.
That's what
I'm saying.
It's display for people to see and shit.
Well, like I'm saying with the nostalgia thing, like if you like for example, like you and me, we could play the old school NES games and enjoy ourselves and be like, okay, this is awesome. But like your kid Zach, 20 years old. You stick him in front of an NES, he's not going to have as much fun as you and I would because there's that nostalgia filter. Yeah. So it's like even now, like I could sit here and picture in my head like what GoldenEye 007 looked like on the N64, and then I go back and play it. I'm like, damn, dude, this looks kind of crappy, pixely, and and shit like that. But in your head, it looks like it's came out yesterday.
Yeah.
It looks nice and smooth. So there's like that little nostalgia filter. But it does the same thing with toys, where you're like, man, like for example, like I remember when I was a kid playing with RoboCop action figures, and they were like 7 inches tall, and I get the same ones now, and they're like 4 inches. They still move and all this playset and all, but I'm like, damn, dude, it's like it halved its size.
Well, your hands were smaller back then.
Yeah, but I'm saying is it's just you remember certain things a certain way. And then you see him again like later on. You're like, damn, dude, this is way different. Than
I remember when we were talking about aliens instead of like fucking collecting.
Well, we could talk about anything.
And then I was talking about.
We're hopping from that fucking.
Right now, I got a couple. I'm collecting a little bit. I got a few GI Joes now, and I got a couple of them. And I can't believe how small they are. And I'm looking at them, going, damn, these.
Yeah, they're like 3-4 inch figures.
They're 3.5 inch.
And fucking, like I'm saying, the RoboCop figure is about an inch bigger than that.
And I'm like, damn, man, I'm looking at like these dudes are. But I got like a cool GI Joe Jeep, and I just got a Cobra Commander and a fucking awesome fucking GI Joe tank. And I just did like a little picture. I was gonna take a picture, but I was like, I gotta get a better spot so when I take a picture and share it, others can see it better. But man, it's just too dark. So, but yeah, I had like Cobra Commando down on his knees with his hands up in the fucking flit in the fucking tank. And shit, but.
So, like, all right, so we were talking before about that. Like, we'll go back into the alien thing, but the simulation thing. Like, you guys have any like the realities of simulation? Like, for example, like I'll tell
the Matrix.
Yeah, kind of. Like a glitch in the Matrix. Like I have like a couple stories. So like I'll tell you one, and then you guys like let's say yours. But like for example, there was one where, and this still freaks me out to think about it to this day. But like I was in the bathroom and I was like getting ready to go to a job interview, and I walked out of the bathroom. This is when I was living with Mom. I literally walked out of the bathroom, and I brushed against Mom in the hallway. I was like, "Oh, sorry," and I was like, "Sorry, Mom," and I turned around the corner, and Mom's sitting on the couch, and she's like, "What are you sorry about?" And I'm like, "What the fuck?" And I turned and looked down the hallway. There's nobody there. And I walked back to her room. There's nobody in there. I walked into where my room was at the time. There's nobody in there. Nobody was in your room. I'm like, what the fuck? So who did I brush up against? There was nobody there. You know what I mean? So that's like one of my glitch in the Matrix stories. So it's like, it just makes me wonder, like, you know, what the fuck happened? Because I in my mind, it was, Mom was walking by, I brushed, like, I hit her, like, I like shouldered into her by mistake, and it apparently wasn't her because she was sitting on the couch, and it's not possible. So, you guys have any stories like that? Anything similar?
I think I said it before about the woman on the train.
Yeah. Well, this is for other people to listen to us and tell the story.
I guess it was like coming back from Philadelphia, and you know, Dad gave me like $10, and of course the food on the train is, you know, like a bottle of soda is usually $1. It's like $4. It's like you're at a concert, basically concert prices. So basically, I got like chips, a soda, and soup for like I think like $7. It came out to be. I was like, damn, that's just a little thing of Campbell's soup and a little can of soda and shit. But anyway, so I'm sitting there. I've been hanging out in the bar car the most because I'm able to sit back in my seat. I can look up at this, you know, the skylights all, you know, open because you can see the sky and everything. I'm just going along the road, looking out at there and shit, and then we're coming up to Chicago, and there's a guy on there saying there's going to be a 6-hour wait over, and I'm like, oh fuck, I got $3. What am I going to do with $3 for 6 hours? And we're sitting there, we're coming up to the station, and this, you know, as we're coming in, the train's going real slow, and this lady comes out of nowhere, and she gives me a $5. She said, God told me to give this to you, and I'm looking at her, I'm going, I can't remember if I said thank you or not, but I'm pretty sure I did. But then I remember looking at her, and as she was walking away, going, I think that woman's crazy, but cool, man. She gave me $5, you know. So I pull up. The train pulls out. I had to go back to my seat. I guess they were the part of the train that I was on. We were off first. We got off at the door, and I wanted to tell her. So I waited for this lady to get off the train because I remember her, you know, I remember her outfit and everything she was wearing, how she looked, and I stood there and I waited for every person to come in off that train, and I seen the conductor guys or whatever, the train people, and I was like, is there any more people on there? They're like, no, we're clearing the train, it's going in for like repairs or maintenance or something, she said. So everybody came off, and that woman never got off the train. So I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, man, I felt like bad from that day on. So I'm thinking, I don't know if I said thank you, and I feel bad for saying I think that woman might be a little crazy or something. But you know, for all I know, it could have been like an angel or watching over me, and I basically just said some stupid shit. So I'm like, damn.
That's still crazy as shit, though.
You know, another time went out walking with Donald.
What was going to be one story each, dude?
You know,
but let Gabe tell a story.
Gabe's busy and his phone marinating another fart.
I guess
that's the only other one I know about was Donald. Was for some reason when Donald lived out there on Gladstone, I think it was. We decided to go out for a walk. I have no idea why, because Donald's not one to go out for a walk. And me and him go out, and we're just walking and talking, and all of a sudden we come across this guy having a hard time changing his front tire. I mean, this dude just looks like he probably never held a wrench in his life. So we changed it out for him. He's trying to pay me, and he's trying to pay Donald. I'm like, nah, man, it's cool, man. It was cool to help you out. And we start walking back, and we didn't talk. Me and Donald didn't talk much going back, and it was like I'm just walking with Donald. It's kind of like we were on like autopilot to go out and take a walk to run across that guy for some reason, and then that was it. I was like, it just felt odd, you know, like what are we going for a walk for? It was a decent little walk too as we went, and I was just like, man, this is kind of weird to be going out for a walk, man. Donald, like I said, Donald's never a guy to go for a walk. He got nice vehicles and everything.
I know what you mean. That is strange.
And then we walked and we helped that guy, and we walked directly back to the house, and that was it. And I'm sitting there looking around going, wow, we just went for a walk and did that and walked right back. Like, it's like we were like being like directed to go there, help out, and then that was it. I was like, man, that's about the weirdest thing for me.
What about you, Gabe? Yeah.
What do you mean, like
weird glitch in the Matrix or weird shit happening?
Yeah, I remember. Well, fuck. There's a few things, but I remember when we were over in the invasion the first time, and like after we kind of wound down, and we were just doing like random patrols and shit. And we were at there was this palace, like one of Saddam's palaces, and by the ruins of Babylon. Like the actual city of Babylon was like underneath the ruins were next to the palace underneath. The scary as fuck. But there was weird shit was happening out there all the time. But I remember we had this sandbag emplacement where a 50 cal was pointing down the avenue of approach that could come to us. Mm-hmm. And it was getting dark, and the rest of the Marines, they were moving the position because we were switching it from one side of the road to the other. Kind of just wanted to keep shit off. You didn't want to have like a complete pattern, so like nobody could just be like, all right, this is where the machine gun is.
Keep enemies on their toes.
Yeah, essentially. And it was dark as fuck out. Mind you, everybody's still like, kind of sleep deprived still a little bit. And I was sitting on the sandbags, and there was cami netting over the top of it, and it's pretty dark out, but there was like, we still had some lights, like a little bit of light, and pretty much all of the Marines, there's a building that we were staying on one side of the river, and there was like 4 or 5 of the Marines were setting up the 50 cal. Mm-hmm. They're getting it into position where they want it before we're going to move the sandbags the next day. And I'm sitting on the sandbags, and I look back, randomly just look back into where the sandbags are at, and it looked like there was somebody on their hands and knees. And I was like, who the fuck is that? And no, didn't say nothing, And I was like, I turned around, I stood up, and then it looked like the thing, like, its head turned around. Mm-hmm. And it looked at me, it was like a humanoid face, and I was like, what the fuck? And it backed out super fast. And I ran around the fucking, the emplacement where you go in at, and there was nothing there. I shot my flashlight, there was not a single fucking thing at all.
Oh, dude, that kind of reminds me of the fucking...
It looked humanoid, but they were talking about they have these weird cats out there, like these wild cats, and I was like, it looked humanoid to me, man.
Yeah, that fucking story reminded me, dude. I went camping with an ex-girlfriend of mine and a few of her friends who were out at Branch Oak, and we kept getting wood for the little campsite fire we got, and we're drinking and shit. We keep going out into the woods and finding like deadfall and shit to bring back. Hey, we're 2 fucking dudes. Women are staying at camp, so we're carrying wood, but it's not enough to keep the fire burning. So we just like drop it and go. We keep coming back, and we fear. We're fucking sitting out in the woods, and we hear like we're standing there just bullshitting back and forth, just trying to catch our breath, and then you hear like wood snapping. Branches and shit, and we're like looking around, and it's dark. Like you can't, like we could barely see each other. And we're about the distance between me and Dave, so like 3 or 4 feet, and we could see our campfire over by like where the lake is and shit, and that was basically like our guiding light. But anyway, like this crackling, it was like far away. And it just kept, like, getting, like, closer and closer. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, 'cause we were out there by ourselves. This was, like, fall. So, like, nobody's really camping in the fall. We had, like, basically a whole...
Lake to yourself.
Whole lake to ourselves. So, it's like, something weird was going on. So, we get the wood back. And, we continue drinking and burning the wood. And we're like, fuck it. If it goes out, it goes out. And it gets to the point where it's, like, just ambers. And then we started hearing voices out in the woods, and the really creepy thing is that we never saw anything, and it just kind of like gives me chills just fucking sitting here thinking about it, because we were drinking, so that kind of gets some of the credibility out of it. But I mean, I remember it clear as day that the voices sounded like us.
Like you guys were further away?
Yeah, it sounded like we, all 4 of us, were at the campsite, but in the distance, like it was like a wide open field, like what Branch Oak is. Yeah. And then there's like a wooded area, pretty thick wooded area. So like in that distance, we'll say that there's like, I don't know, 200-300 feet.
Sure.
So from that woodline area, it sounded like us talking in our voices, but it was over there. You know what I mean? And we're sitting here just like looking at each other, like all making sure, like, are you all hearing this? And it was just fucking weird. I'll tell you right now, there's nothing creepier than hearing your own voice 300 feet away.
Yeah.
Like, and you couldn't make out what they were saying. It was just like low enough that it was like kind of like almost baiting us to come check it out. You know what I mean? Like
It's
that's
like Skinwalker type of shit, dude.
it. That may have been, but I mean, this was before I even heard about anything from Skinwalkers. So I mean, it very well could have been, but it was either someone really like they had like a recording device and recorded all of us talking. They were fucking with us in the woods, or there was some entity out there that could mimic our voices and was trying to draw us to. Like I'm not
dude,
predator.
Skinwalkers, dude. Like that's that's like a Native American thing, dude. Like,
but see, like the really creepy thing is, like I recognized my own voice and I recognized voice, but it was like off, like it was like tonally,
yeah,
like octavely off,
yeah,
by like a note or two. You know what I mean? Like it was like
yeah,
a little deeper or a little like higher.
Yeah.
So that was one that was like really like that. Your story just right there fucking reminded me of that.
But like the Skinwalker thing, they were like, what kind of freaked me out about your story was like I was watching a documentary, kind of like a small one on YouTube about Skinwalkers, and they say like, you know, people who have sightings of them or they hear them or whatnot, they say like when you hear them further away in the distance, you know what I mean? Like if you can hear something further away in the distance, like they're actually really close to you.
Oh, that's great to know.
Yeah, like, dude, they're actually.
Well, it sounded like they were off. Like there's the lining of the woods. It sounded like they were probably about 100 feet back. So
that's
they were
what
probably,
I'm saying.
They were probably right on the edge.
That's
whatever it was.
What I'm saying is like when the people talk about Skinwalkers, and they say fucking you know that it's what you think it is, and then you think it sounds like it's far away. It's right near you.
Yeah,
Stalking you.
Well, her friend, like she. Fuck that. She's like, I want to go into the tent. I'm like, fuck, I don't even want to stay here, but we've been drinking, so we couldn't leave. But her friend's boyfriend, which was the dude that was out there with me, you know, collecting the wood, I don't know if he was trying to be, like, brave or what, but he's like, we should go check that out. I'm like, I ain't fucking going out there.
You got no flashlights?
No, we didn't have nothing. We just, like, it was like an impromptu trip. And it was just like, dude,
Did you guys go out there when it was dark or what?
It was like kind of like I dusk or dawn. I can't remember what the fuck which one.
You collected a lot of firewood before it got dark. Man.
It was like I said, impromptu.
Yeah, I got you.
You know, we just kind of like, that was like one of the freakier things. But yeah, I never saw anything. I wish I could say that I did. I'd be like, oh, it was fucking 16 feet tall and had a dick half as long as its body. You know, like, like I wish there was something interesting, but it was all just sound. It was sound. That's all it really was.
Dude, there's so many.
I know Gabe and I a while back, you know, saw a UFO. You could see it left the fucking trail when it took off. You'd see it was sitting there and it takes off, and it just left like a trail of light and it just disappeared.
That's fucking nuts.
I remember that time I was out by Tinker and shit.
Yeah, there's so many different things that. Like, I remember being in I remember 50 when we lived over there when I was a kid.
I have to edit the address out.
Okay, yeah, that's fine. It was before you guys were here because I think it was like only like 6 through 8, one of those things. And the bottom of the stairs, you know, the laundry room's over there. My mom's doing laundry. And I'm sitting there playing with my toys pretty much where the vent's at because they're all the same, pretty much these type of houses. And I'm sitting there and my mom had a Polaroid camera and she took a picture of me. It was like during the day, you know. And when she didn't show me the picture till I was like in my teens, you know, or like early or pre-teens, like almost like maybe 13.
Yeah.
And it's a Polaroid picture of me sitting there. I had this little ET doll, like fucking, it was like a sand, you know, the sand doll. It was like ET,
yeah.
And I was playing like some fucking either He-Man or GI Joes or whatever. And next to me, it looked like there was an outline of another kid sitting there with me.
That's fucking creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah, it was. You know what I mean? Because my mom was like, she got pretty scared because my dad was still in the Navy and he was away. And it was like, fucking my sisters were fucking asleep, you know what I mean? And it was just us fucking, I think it was during the summer.
There's something up at these houses. Because I had ghost encounters and this. I even caught it on film.
Huh?
I even caught it on video here.
Yeah, because
It fucking sound like, you know, playing a game, and I'll probably
sound
link
like
it.
shit was running around up there.
Yeah, it sounded like someone was chasing Zachary. Jesus, dude.
Chasing what?
Sounded like someone was chasing Marcus around upstairs.
But they weren't even here, were they?
No, they were both. Christina and Marcus were here, but they were both asleep.
Sleeping.
Like, I went upstairs and looked. They're fucking out cold, and it's like it happened twice. And it's like, I don't fucking. Yeah, it smells like fucking sewage is backing up with like a light, flowery smell. Did you spray
Yeah,
that
it's-
air
It
freshener?
smells April fresh with a chemical fucking gas, fucking mustard gas fucking smell.
Yeah, that's why.
Yeah, fucking. We're playing Clue, man. Gabe killed us in the basement with fucking noxious gas.
with the
Colonel Mustard in the
Colonel
fucking
Mustard
hall
with
with
mustard gas.
with a fucking candlestick.
That's why I'm pretty surprised. Like when we were out at the park when we were doing those one things.
Well, we heard like I don't know if it was an audio glitch or what, but it sounded like some like disembodied laughter. That was the only thing I caught. It just sounded like someone going or So I mean that was really the only crazy thing. But yeah, I mean I don't know. There's so many supposedly haunted places, and we went right from simulations to hauntings and shit. But yeah, it's like even like weird feelings, like with the simulation thing we were talking about. Like I was on the couch one time, and Mom actually reminded me of the story like a week ago. But I'm on the couch watching TV. We were having like a barbecue or something, cookout, 4th of July shit. Anyway, family was over, and at this time, Zach's 20 years old now, so he's probably about 4 or 5 at this point in time.
He'll be 20 in October.
Well, he's gonna be, yeah. So he was about 4 or 5 at this time. And I'm sitting there on the couch, or laying down on the couch watching TV, and there's something in my head just telling me go check on the kids. And I'm like, fuck, man, I really don't want to get up, man. I'm comfortable. And then feeling hit me like a ton of bricks, like check on the kids now. So I go right in the middle of the bedroom, and I look out the window, and Marcus, or fucking Zach and Angelina, they're both probably about 4 or 5 years old. They're talking to a dude that's like on the other side of the creek in the back. And I open the window immediately. I'm like, yo, it's dinner time, come eat, just because I wanted to get them to come back.
You guys had the privacy fence?
This is before that, yeah. So like they come running back. I go out of the house and I go look down in the creek. And it must have been like 15 seconds. That dude was long gone. So he walked around the fence and just fucking probably booked it. But just that feeling was like I'm sitting there on the couch. It's like I just now know not to ignore feelings like that.
Yeah.
Because the first time I was like, I don't want to get the fuck up, dude. I'm comfortable. And it just hit me like double. It was like, check on the kids now. And like it was like forced me to get up. I'm like, fuck. So I just go look in the room. That's the shit I saw, dude. I was like, man, it was a good feeling. Or it's good. I was thankful that I got the feeling to do that, you know. It's good. Who knows what the fuck that dude would have did. But mom tells me now, she didn't tell me at the time, that Angelina was saying that the dude was trying to get them to follow him.
Yeah.
You know, I was like, and nobody told me that until, and what was that, 15 years ago. That's the first time I heard that the dude was trying to get him to go with them.
Dude, I was working at the current company that I am now, and it was like earlier this year, and I was coming home. But this is before I got my license taken away and shit. And I was driving, you know, like Havelock Avenue, 70th and Havelock. Like sometimes I just turn down and go like.
Just trying to keep addresses out of it.
Yeah. Well, okay. The streets.
Streets are fine.
Yeah, and then I went down a couple other streets. I think it was like I was going down Kearney Ave. And then I'm driving, and there's this little girl. She has just the pants on, no shirt, no shoes on. It's, early spring, kind of still chilly. And she's walking by herself, like towards this intersection. It's a residential intersection, but intersection nonetheless. And I'm just sitting there thinking to myself, it's like, it's not your responsibility. You're gonna look like a crazy getting out of the car, blah blah blah. And then I was like, finally, I crossed the intersection, parked the car, and I was like, I can't have that be on my conscience. So I got out of the car. She's on the south side of the sidewalk, so I stayed on the north side of the street. I was just walking. She wasn't paying attention. Finally, she looked. She's like this tall, dude. She's like a toddler almost.
Yeah.
And I'm just I'm walking, not like looking at her. I'm looking around for neighbors, like maybe like trying to wave the neighbors, like, yo, who's is this kid? You know. And then finally she looks at me and she gets startled, and so she turns around and starts running. I'm like, good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I hear other kids playing a couple houses up, and and she's running towards us. So I just keep walking, and finally, I start going on the other side of the sidewalk, and the little girl and her sisters, they're like probably like maybe 3 to 4 years older than her. Turn around and she runs right in their arms, and her sister was kneeling down holding her, and she's looking at me scared. And I was just on the street, and I was like, pay attention to your sister. You know what I mean? You know, I'm like, watch her. And I started walking away, and her sister, the older sister, said thank you. You know what I mean? I was just like, it was just like, but at any point in time, somebody could have thought I was some kind of creep trying to fucking grab the kid.
Pedophile or
You know what I mean? But I was like, dude, I couldn't let fucking this kid fucking, like, she was a toddler. She could have got smacked by a car. Somebody could have just snatched her.
Yeah, that's what's fucked up nowadays, you know, because of how things are now today. You know, that's how we got to think. It's,
Well, yeah, well,
it's even if you know, not to try and, you know, change the subject too much, but it's like even for us guys that are single, want to go out dating, the woman's already prepared to think of we're fucking predators or some shit already.
Yeah.
But that
Well, similar to that, I had when I was living over on North 9th in the Antelope fucking or Deer Park Apartments or whatever the fuck it was for Christina. I fucking went down to have a smoke, and there's like a 2-year-old just sitting in the vestibule, and both the doors are closed, and the kid's just like sitting there like, just like worried looking. I'm like, where's your mommy, buddy? And he's like, he just like shook his head like, I don't think he could talk really. Either that or maybe he was just scared, you know. So I called, you know, I went back in, and I had the kid by the hand, and I'm like, is somebody missing a kid? Like, I yelled up the one hallway, nothing, and then so I walked back with him out into the vestibule, closed the door, went in the other door, did the same thing, nobody answered, so I was like, well, I can't fucking take this kid up to my apartment, because, you know, again, people are going to think you're being weird, and I can't fucking leave him down here by himself, so I called the non-emergency number, and, you know, the police came, and as the police showed up, like 4 or 5 people came out. I'm like, has anybody seen this kid? And it's like we started kind of all gathering and like entertaining this kid until like, you know, Child Protective Services showed up, and the kid, like, I got him to start talking to me, but he was 2, so he couldn't talk very much. And by the time CPS came, like he ran down the battery on my phone playing games, and he passed out, you know, so. But I guess the story we found out later was he had a single mom, and as soon as he fell asleep, she went out and partied.
Oh, shit.
And this was like, I want to say 8 o'clock at night, so the kid probably just fell asleep, noticed his mom wasn't there, and I guess she didn't find out till like 4 in the morning. So that bitch went out at probably like 7 till 4 a.m. partying and left a 2-year-old by themselves. It's like, man, I don't know how that's more important than your kid, but that was my only thing where I guess my second story where I saved like a kid, but I don't know, there's all kinds of like, you know,
our family
crazy shit happens, like, you know, you just find yourself into a situation where you can help people.
Our family has that big time. I had a dude that I used to know, and something was telling me to give him a call, and I'm like, why? I don't like calling people, man. I just don't want to call people, you know, I can't just say hi, because then it's like hi, and then I become Dr. Phil, and I have to listen to everybody's problems when I got problems of my own. We all do.
Yeah.
But anyway, something kept telling me to call this dude, you know, call him up. I'm like, why? You know, why? Just like Tony was saying about the thing.
It's a nagging feeling.
You know, and it's like, all right, I call him up, and then this dude is like hysterical, man. He's like, I'm getting ready to commit suicide. So I'm like, oh man, come on, dude. I said, what are you gonna do that for, man? He goes, you know, I just can't take it anymore, you know. He goes, I said, dude, your daughter, you just got back to talking with your daughter and all that, and he's just like, yeah, you know, he goes, yeah, it just sucks, man. You know, it's really gonna suck for you, because, you know, you're the last one I talked to, and you know, you're gonna go through your life thinking of something. Like, dude, you know, you gotta stop talking goofy. You know, I said, man, just, you know, go home, take a nap. You know, wake up, have some coffee. You know, I just kept talking to him more and more. I started getting, you know, kind of talking to him. I was probably on the phone with him probably for about an hour. we kept losing reception and shit. And finally, you know, I got to talk. He's like, "Yeah, I'm sorry, man. I'm going home now. I'm just gonna go home and I'm gonna go lay down. I think it's just, you know, I'm just so stressed out, and you know, I had things on." And he seemed he was good after that, you know, and he didn't never. It was like never again. He was like that. He was always like a off the wall type of dude, you know. And then all of a sudden, he's like, you know, he's like, "Yeah, man, thanks. I really appreciate you and this and that." And I've been cool with the dude ever since. I just talked to him like not too long ago, but it's just it was kind of weird, you know, calling up and hear him talking, boom, to his dude's suicide. What? You know, that was crazy. But yeah, shit like that happens like all the time. Or and I remember I took another friend home. She, you know, because she was, you know, was not a bad looking woman and stuff. So I actually carried her. I picked her, put her up, and I carried her into her bed. And you know, I was just messing around. I put her in her bed, and I shake her bed like we were doing it. I'm like, oh, you know, and she just like cracked, man. She was cracking up, and I was just like, I ain't gonna do that. I would never do that. And she's like, I know, you're such a great guy. I'm like, yeah, but it's the bad guys the women want, you know. So I did that for her. I mean, there was all kinds of stuff I did, man. You know, it's just it's the way
Well, that last story you just told, it wasn't really nothing supernatural.
Yeah. No, it was just actually kind of funny. I was just there for. I was, you know, instead of just like sitting there minding my business, and just letting her go, you know, I was actually there for her. I put her in my vehicle and I actually drove her back to her place, and I could have just stayed at the bar and like, I don't give a shit. You know, and there's a lot of stuff like that I got going on that I just don't share a lot. You know, since we're talking about all this like unsolved mystery stuff, but you know, it's just a lot of things. I don't look or seek praise. I don't look for money, you know, or anything like that. You know,
I don't think anybody's trying to do that.
I just do. I'm just saying that's why I've done a lot. I know I did a lot, and I don't really talk about it. Sometimes I'll even forget it, but some things I do remember.
I remember one time I was actually saved by, I would call it I wouldn't know if it was divine, but it was some kind of intervention. It was with that shitty Firebird, and I was working at Da Vinci's, and
yeah, that was a long time ago.
Yeah, this I was probably like 17, 18, and it had a shitty, like knockoff like Pioneer CD player in it. And I burned like a CD, and I get off work. It's like probably like 11:45, you know. And I turn on the car, and the CD starts playing, and it starts skipping like immediately, and it's playing the song "Take the Long Way Home," but it kept skipping, and I kept repeating that same line. It was like "Take the long way home, take the long way home, take the," and it's like snowing. It's like heavy as shit. So I'm like, I don't want to fucking drive longer than I have to get home, you know. But I'm like, fuck it. I'll accept the sign as it is, and I drove, you know, the long way home. And I find out the next morning that there was like a snowplow that I guess like blew its like air brakes or something, and ended up fucking plowing and destroying like 5 cars, and like 2 of the people died.
Jesus. And
it would have been like right at the same time on the same road I was taking to go home. So that thing telling me to take the long way home might have saved me from getting like seriously fucked up.
Mothman was trying to tell you what's up too.
What's that?
Mothman.
Mothman. That's just a song. I can't remember what song it was. That's not it. That's not the song though. But yeah, I know what you're talking about. Oh fuck!
Damn!
Dude.
Shots fired.
Man, double double.
Dude, you know that shit smells.
Double bubble. Oh man, I don't know why I just took a deep breath. Oh,
I'm gonna have to like wash my fucking pants and underwear like 4 times before.
I think you need to like pour a gallon of bleach up your ass.
This machine's probably gonna choke out.
You're fucking changing flavors.
Is that more pizza flavored?
I don't know. It's like went from burnt turnips to like fucking rotten pizza. Raccoon ass. With a hint of lemon. I've been having some fucking weird ass dreams though lately too.
Yeah, dude, I've had some weird ones, dude. I've been trying to keep a
Dude,
fucking...
that smells like fucking like mildewy cardboard. God damn.
Man, your like intestines or something are fucking melting or
Dude,
something.
I don't... Well, dude, I ate
like-
some weird shit for the past couple
It's like the most fucked up Baskin Robbins 31 flavors ever. Smelled in my entire life, dude. God damn. It's like a garbage pail kid.
Dude, I've been, like, trying to leave a fucking notepad and pen next to my fucking... where I sleep. You know, it's like if I do wake up fucking from a weird-ass dream, I want to write it down as fast as possible.
Mm. Well, give me a sample.
Well, no, I haven't.
Give me one of the 31 flavors.
Because I fucking wake up and I'm like, what the fuck? And I'll go take a piss and then I'm like, I'm tired as fuck, and I go lay back down again. But there was one, I think I was telling Dave the other day, that there was just, it felt so fucking real, man.
Mm.
But it was like just weird shit was happening. I can't even remember what I told Dave. Fucking like what happened. It was like I think it was like fucking. Yeah, I think it was like it might have been you or it might have been someone else. Somebody was like fucking putting a fucking like a rifle magazine into a fucking pistol and it was still working. That was it. And I was like, that's when I was like, this is not a this isn't a real. This is a dream. And I woke up and shit. But it was like it was a serious dream, dude. You know. But it like felt so goddamn real, like it was like real life, you know.
Dude, I had a fucking awesome dream. It was a dream that would have made like a great video game. Like I put it to you like that. Like I had a dream like I was working at Walmart, like in the back stock room, all right?
Yeah.
And it was like there was like a freight elevator, and that was the first thing. I'm like, you know, there's nothing underneath this but sewer and shit. So why the fuck would there be a freight elevator to go down? But it said on there, warning, to return. It's gonna cost you $1.85. I was like, okay, whatever, fuck it. So I went in this elevator, right? But anyway, it was a long, convoluted dream. But it turned out like there was like this anomalous object that the closer you got to it, the more insane you became.
Mm.
But if you actually get it, like you get like some kind of power, or whatever. So anyway, weird shit happened. Like there was weird creatures and monsters. But I get this like glowing white orb. And I'm holding it in the palm of my hands. And literally, as soon as I grabbed it, it was like, you're dreaming right now. Everything you've seen has all been fictional, and it's time to wake up. And literally, as I dropped the ball, my fucking alarm for my phone started going off. I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, it was like, man, can you imagine, like, you play through, like, a horror game, and, like, each level gets more and more fucked up, and at the end, like, you get the coveted object, and it's like, I'm a video game character. I'm a fictional character. Everything's made up. You know, it's like that would be like an awesome video game.
Dude, I remember when we were still living out fucking here when I was a kid. This is before I was staying in the basement. Fucking the Christina's workroom was the room I was staying in at the time.
It used to be my bedroom too.
And
in our house. I mean,
I know what
we
you're
didn't
talking about.
live together, but
and
at that time.
I remember it was nighttime. I can't remember if it was summer or not, or it was still during the school year, but I just couldn't go to sleep for shit. And I mean, this is not really too fantastic or nothing, but I literally I closed my eyes. I was like, it was dark out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I closed my eyes and I heard a train, like it was like you'd hear a train on the tracks by like fucking the BNSF ones.
Mm-hmm.
And I opened my eyes and it was daylight.
Yeah, I had to.
Like I said, it wasn't that great, but I was just like, it was like literally, and it felt like I got no sleep.
So you
like
was like when you woke up?
no, it was like, you know how a train's like, yeah, it was like that, and then it was like, you know, like how they do their, yeah, and it was like literally, I was laying there, I was like, man, because I looked at my clock and I was like, man, I gotta go to sleep. I'm not tired, and I was like, fuck, I'm gonna close my eyes, and I was just like this, and it was like the train, and then it was like, boom, and I opened my eyes, and it was broad daylight out.
It's fucking weird.
And I was just like, fucking, like, it was like almost like, well, the thing that kind of got to me was like, you know how sometimes people say like they miss portions of time?
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Shit like that. And I was like, I didn't think about it when I was a kid, but like, I still remember that dream, or if it was a dream or what it was, it's like, dude, I lost a section of time.
Mm.
And it wasn't because I was dreaming, I don't think. You know what I mean?
Just racked the fuck out and then immediately woke up.
Yeah.
And I haven't had quite like that drastic, but for the fucking nightmare I had, I still remember from when I was a kid. I thought this is like one of Dave's favorite stories, and it's something that never happened. It was a dream, but it was so vivid and creepy that I still fucking remember it now. And I was like probably what I was like 10. Like I was fucking young, like really young. But we were living like at 50th Street, so I was I had a pre-teenager. I'll put it to you like that. I was probably at least 8 or 10. But the dream, Dave was playing a game. Jason was down in the basement, and so was I. So we were all sitting there watching Dave play this horror game, and Jason was like, "Hey man, my neck hurts, man. Can you go upstairs and grab me a pillow?" I was like, I want to watch, I was like, fine, fuck it, Dave paused the game, so I ran upstairs, grabbed a pillow. As I'm about to run back down the steps, and upstairs it's all dark, so I couldn't really see anything. I just went by memory. But anyway, as I'm about to go down the steps, I get like knocked on my ass, and something just like fucking rushes right by me, and then I couldn't make out what it was or even a shape or anything. But I like go to stand up, and as soon as I stand up, I hear Dave and Jason like screaming bloody murder in the basement, like they're getting attacked. And then there's like gunshots, and I don't think Dave even owned a gun at that point in time, but there's like gunshots. And then like as I'm like trying to slowly make my way down to the basement steps, Dave's coming up, and he's like all fucked up, like he's like scratched to shit, like immediate medical attention's needed or he's gonna be dead, you know what I mean, like. And he falls like face first on the steps, which kind of made me chuckle. It's kind of fucked up. I have dark humor in my dreams, but it made me chuckle that he like
just face planted.
He just biff. And so I go and I push him over, and he's like, "Tony," I'm like, "What, man?" He's like, "I need a Band-Aid." I'm like, "Dude, I think you need a little bit more than a Band-Aid, dude." But I'm like, "Fuck it," dream logic. So I go around to the bathroom, and my mom is like laying on the bathroom floor, and I'm like, and she's like out of it, and I'm like, what the fuck? So, the light just comes on, so like the ceiling fan comes, or the fan in the bathroom comes on. That kind of like wakes her up, and she's like out of it, like dazed, and she like looks at me, and then she like looks behind me, and like fucking has like this look of horror on her face, and she starts screaming, and I turn around and I see like looks like a fucking like rotten corpse like coming at me, and I woke up. But it was like I gotta say, if I could remember, it was kind of looked like the bitch from The Shining, like the naked old lady.
Yeah.
But she was like more rotted, like brown, or like looked like somebody like it was more creature than person. It was like I saw like hands coming at me. Like I didn't see a face. The face and all was blurred out, but it was like the hands. I remember coming at me, and I woke up, and I fucking was like, I woke up screaming in real life. Like, I was like, it freaked me out that bad. Like, and I still remember that shit to this day, and that's like been 20-something years now. That was one of the worst nightmares I ever had.
Yeah, I had one. That's what Gabe told me about his rifle with a pistol magazine. When I told him, it was like, I don't know, probably because I ate something and went to bed, but it was like very vivid. I mean, like very clear and in color. It was like switching between the face of the one guy that had like was somebody I went to school with, and a dude I used to work with, and it's like the face kept switching, and he had a plank with a nail in it, and he was going after this one guy, and I'm just like I'm just sitting in the middle of this room. And I'm just looking at this going, what the fuck is going on here? And then there's this other guy, he was like a Mexican illegal dude, the way he was dressed and the way he looked. And he had a box cutter, and he's like swinging it around, this dude with the nail. Eventually they go around the corner, and I don't see what's going on anymore. So I want to go on the other side to grab my jacket to get I just wanted to get the hell out of there. I'm just like, this is goofy. And the dude's in the chair. The dude that had the wood, he has his neck, and the other guy just keeps slicing his neck with a box cutter, like he just keeps like he's opening up vent holes in his neck. I'm like, damn, dude. I was like, I'm getting the hell out of here, man. As soon as I walked out the door, I woke up. I was like, man, that was a fucked up dream. Why? And I remember that clear as day. I'm like, man. So I tried to look it up in the phone. I can't remember what it said. Something about it. So why watching me witness? What does it mean with me witnessing somebody's getting their neck cut? and it said something. I can't remember what it was, but it didn't sound. It sounded like it was like good fortune or something. Like that's fucked up. I gotta see something fucked up to get good fortune.
Yeah, I can tell you like, and this is something that Gabe could kind of back me up on because we were watching that John Must Die at the end where they were saying, you know, when he was explaining the dream, the dynamite, and the thunder, and all that. I've had that shit happen before. For those people that don't know, it was like, and Dave didn't see the movie; he was passed out, but he was like, you're having a dream about like a bad guy chasing you with one of those old TNT plungers.
Yeah.
And he's like, he finally gets you. He ties you to the track, and he pulls down the plunger, and the sound of thunder in real life goes off, and that's what you wake up to. But it's like, how could your brain know that the thunder was going to coincide with the plunger getting pushed down?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's like everybody has like kind of a little bit of telepathy or whatever.
Yeah,
I've had dreams like that
I had
happen.
dreams where I'm trying to run from somebody, and it's like I'm running in quicksand. Like I can't, and there's no quicksand. I'm on the ground, and no matter how hard I try, it's like somebody hit the let's go in super slow mo and see what happens. And
I've done that with punching people. Like you go to like punch somebody, you're like, I'm gonna fucking murder you. And you're like, eh.
You're like, meh.
Dude, when I was in fucking jail, the last 48 that I was there, fucking the Saturday fucking night, man, fucking I kept, dude, I was dreaming about this kid that got fired from our work. He's just this piece of shit kid. Like, I don't know if I told you about the story. The kid walked off the job and shit. And he was trying to make us drive him back to the farm after we just got to the job site. We were like, fuck you, go walk. But I was like in an argument with this dude again in my dream, you know, but he was trying to fucking hurt people on the job. So I'm like fucking like kicking and punching him. But like I fucking like was like I started to half wake up and I'm like in the top rack in the cell, dude, fucking kicking and punching air, dude. Like I'm like I've never had a fucking dream like where I woke up that I'm fucking like still in the mood to kick and punch a motherfucker like halfway dazed.
I did. I got up, ran into the wall.
Really?
It was like Marcus was in the room, or not Marcus, Zach was in the room. I was upstairs in the middle room, and Mom comes in there, and he starts crying. I get up, man, boom, ran into the wall, and lay back down again because I saw Mom through the corner of my eyes, so I didn't bother getting up right away. But yeah, I have a dream. I just got up and I started running, like you see the dogs do and shit. You see them running.
Yeah, running to the fucking.
They get up and just ran straight into the wall. Biff! I'm like, oh fuck. That's crazy shit, man. This is like Tales from the Dark Side type of shit.
Yeah, we just because we went from simulations and weird shit that happened to us to dreams. I don't know what the hell.
It really started out with the Budweiser shit.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna cut all that. I'm probably just gonna stick to the wild and wacky shit at the end.
That was funny.
Just because I don't feel like talking about politics and shit.
It's not really. I mean, that's the sad thing.
We don't need to talk about it. We don't need to
I'm
rehash
just saying
it.
a lot of people are just like, you know, everything is politics because it trickles down from politics down into the.
I'm just annoyed with hearing about it. Ever since
that's what I'm saying.
Trump became the president, dude.
Yeah.
Everybody's a political expert. I'm fucking tired of it.
That's what I'm
sick
saying.
of it.
You know, I'm like
the Republicans and Democrats, both of them can fuck off. I don't care.
I feel the same way. Like with George W. Bush, shitty ass president.
I don't care.
Barack Obama,
Next
shitty
subject.
ass president. Nobody was saying nothing.
Next subject.
You know, and then all of a sudden Trump's in there and we're doing
Jesus
something.
Christ.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Subject. I won't
just
talk
saying.
about it anymore.
I'm just saying that's why I'm involved in it. Watching everybody cry, listening to everybody cry about it.
What's something else to talk about? I don't want to talk about politics.
No, hell no, I don't want to talk about that anymore. That shit's boring as fuck.
Yeah.
Funny stories.
Oh, I feel hungry. That's about all I know.
Okay, well, I guess probably a good place to leave off. We can do another one later.